if you have a protest in the Bay Area for Gaza, you know what I mean, for the people that's being brutalized in Gaza, you know, you say we're in solidarity for what's going on, and we see that going on, right? But when you see people in Gaza protesting against the pigs that killed Oscar Grant, when you see that back, you know what I mean, and the more you see that, you're like, yo, homies had my back, you know what I mean? Like, just that simple, you know. I don't think it's gonna be anything intellectual or just the way words we can put together that's gonna make people see that. But I think it's gonna be actually people coming out in defense of each other that make them say, that's my comrades right there. You feel me over there, you know. I think that makes it real for you, like how Castro allowed Asada asylum in Cuba. You know, that's real shit. You know, that's putting his whole country on the line for our sister. You know, we gotta respect that. And we know Cuba ain't perfect in no way. You know what I mean? But how can you not respect that? You know what I mean? Where else was she gonna go? You know what I mean? So that creates that international camaraderie, that solidarity, is when you see injustice, you stand up for it wherever you at. And if they don't stand up, you know, for you, then you say, all right, I see y'all motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Real talk.
I think we're in a particularly important place right now because there's such a divide in who's trying to rule this thing and how. So the system is split up. We're seeing evidence of it in so many ways. I mean, the world leadership, which includes Obama, is trying to figure out where's the next resource going to come from, how we're going to consolidate it, and they're willing to leave all of us butt naked in the process, except for the ones who have paid to play. You feel me? So with that in context, that totally in context, we're in a great position to introduce international, I don't know, Soviets, organizations. We have to be able to introduce organizations in each particular place that can fight for our needs, our rights, independently of the United States government. As a nation inside a nation, having understanding, and hip-hop is, you know, hip-hop has this ability to do this. This is like a particularly important time. Music has not really been able to do this, but it can now, because hip-hop has its own kind of cultural identity, so we can implant people as ambassadors of hip-hop in, let's say, Sierra Leone, that says this is how in hip-hop globally, we feel about a situation. It totally internationalizes our ability to make a statement about an idea or what we believe in, where we weren't represented there before. Hip-hop can be represented in South Africa. Hip-hop, now I don't just mean South African hip-hop, I mean the hip-hop of the world that we all are a part of, because we can elect it. We can elect it. We have done so many things. I mean, there's actually a hip-hop ambassador that goes around the world. Her name is Tony Blackman. I was just with the sister at Harvard University, and she's in all kind of places in Africa teaching hip-hop as a tool for communication. So we can do this. We can elect it inside hip-hop and say, all right, this can be our idea about how we feel about any situation around the world. In Venezuela, there are artists who are doing it. In Cuba, there are artists who are doing it. In Chile, even all throughout Europe, we are there. So that's just one example. But we also can, or what we have to do now is have organizations that are independently talking about the international scope of the world. The Uhuru movement has an organization called the African Socialist International, which is touching down in places like Burkina Faso and Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, and Guinea Conakry, and Guinea-Bissau, putting down real programs that are saying this is the link between what's going on in America, in Florida, St. Pete, all the way up the coast, and we're connecting that with what's happening inside Africa. And this is an organization that's independent of the United States government, and there's so many that's like it. But we can be a part of an international African movement for our people, and I think that would speak to us, aside from what people will, because other than that, we'll be left to think that Africans in the United States agree with Obama. you know, because this is pretty much becomes the international perception of things. We've elected him. He speaks for us, and when he goes to Egypt and lays down that bullshit, we'll unite. We co-sign into that, which of course we're not. You know, of course we're not. When he launching wars in Afghanistan, he's like, oh yeah, this is the African that the black people love, and they agree with his position. So he are down here enslaving Afghanistanis, and we're united with it. No, this is not our position. We are in total disagreement with the war that's happening against the people around the world. So then that we can develop these kind of positions. And there are people who are our elders and our leadership who've been walking that road so long, ready to develop that. Mama C, Mama Charlotte in Arusha, you know, Pete O'Neill, you know, Jahneen, the Ruba Ben Wahad in Ghana. You know, we have people all around this motherfucker ready to help us set up the international understanding of the world. And so let's use it while we can. That's what I think.
And one of the real quick, just realizing the fallacy, the bullshit that of the nations, you know what I mean? Like all of the so-called nationalities is colonial. They were set up by colonizers. You know, it ain't Puerto Rico. What's that? You know, oh, I'm Puerto Rican.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I respect you as a person, but Puerto Rico is Puerto Riches. It was set up by a colonizer. That ain't a person, identity. You know what I'm saying? And all in whatever. You know, I'm New York. You know, fuck New York. You know, whatever. You know, all this stuff was set up by colonizers to divide us, you know, and to divide up the resources for their benefit. So even just believing in all these different nationalities is like counterproductive.
Yeah.
We world citizens.
That's right.
You know.
Yeah. You know, we have to see ourselves as world citizens.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you all.
Thank y'all.
Any more?